Now, I take umbrage with that last part because for me, honestly, I don't expect a central bank to consider another reserve currency unless they can control it, and they can control it because of issues with price stability. So I'm not really too bummed out that he threw gold and crypto under the bus in that way. What I am more bummed about is that, as we all know, Basel III came out and basically stated that gold is no longer a tier three asset, it's a tier one asset, almost akin to cash. So for him to come out and say that it's speculative,
Right.
to me, that's a bit of a head scratcher.
That makes zero
Um,
sense.
so now that you've seen that, the question that I want to pose to you is, well, what could that second foreign or not foreign, what could that second reserve currency be if not this maybe a digital currency that already exists,
I think it
if
could
not
still be
gold?
crypto. You can still control the price. I mean, USD coin is a crypto pegged to $1. Not every crypto goes up and down. A lot of cryptos are pegged. Tether is pegged to $1. Whatever the US, I mean, it's literally like it never moves. USD coin never moves. Whatever, you send it as, it's in dollar prices. Tether is the same. Central banks own Ripple. It's owned by a centralized bank. I'm sure there's other ones I don't even know out there, but I still think that they could do it. I don't know though. I don't that was a weird. I mean, that was I feel like there's a lot of stuff behind that still that he didn't. I don't know, but I don't know
Someone
what else.
noticed. Someone noticed after he said gold, he started coughing. He was like, "Oh yeah, digital currencies are used for speculation, like gold." And
Yeah, yeah.
someone made a comment under that Twitter thread about that. But I think at the end of the day, like you said, he also said in that same breath that he's looking at creating some kind of potential Federal Reserve coin.
Yeah,
Now, is that the same thing as the dollar though? I don't know. Or
yeah.
is it something new?
Well, I like crypto because there's no Bitcoin of China, no Bitcoin of USA. Like Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Like
Mm-hmm.
US dollar, there's a yen, right? Like every other currency, it's all, even the US dollar is the world's reserve currency, but I like crypto because there's just one. Now, obviously, it's decentralized. So if they obviously were going to control it, I still think they could. In some fashion, it would be a lot different. It would be
Mm-hmm.
like USD coin, US dollar coin, like, yeah, it's pegged to a dollar, but it still is decentralized, so there's a lot that could happen behind the scenes that they couldn't control. So it would have to be like something new. I know there is this new um like age of crypto it's not a crypto, it's called a stable coin, but then you also have uh an investment coin, which is different than that. Like there's a whole bunch of different types of these like crypto type coins that do different things and can be on in a different type of network. And I mean, it's really something. Like I don't understand it all, but I do think if there is going to be another coin, it would be something like that.
I think the other thing that he said in this clip, or in the first clip, really, that really took me back is he basically said, hey, another foreign or another reserve currency could undermine the dollar. But he said that, we've had situations like that in the past. So let's say the reserve currency is silver, let's just say the reserve currency is silver. Let's just say that it operates opposite of the movements of the dollar. So, for example, the dollar or silver or anything else really is going to be effectively in competition with the dollar. That's how currencies nowadays are valued. They're valued in ratios. So you're comparing one with another. And by comparison, you're basically saying there's something about this that's different than this. And there are there are going to be times when you want to be in this instead of this. So if you say there's more options for reserve currencies, and let's say silver is a reserve currency, why would the Fed want to allow that? Why wouldn't they just want to keep one reserve currency? I'm trying to figure this out in my head. Like,
Well,
why?
the dollar's lost 98% of its purchasing power. Like we're $30 trillion in debt now. Like not 99% of its purchasing power, not 97%. The dollar's lost 98 literal
Yeah.
number percent of its original purchasing power, 44% in the last 20 years.
Mhm.
The dollar's gonna collapse. Like it has to. I mean, like it's literally impossible for it not to. It's like we're trying to get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt. It's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card. Like it's gonna catch up. I feel like they're realizing it more than I feel like COVID obviously like exposed to the world how like deep, how broke we really are, which
Yeah.
is scary. And like he even said, speculation plays a big part in precious metals now, which I hate because it does now more than any. Just like when you're showing that chart,
Mhm.
you were saying, this is the markets reacting this way because people thought it was going to do this, but now the 25 basis point came out. Now the real price, it's all
Exactly.
and that even happens with precious metals when I feel like it should be like solely like crypto. I mean, yes, it does make sense with gold and silver, but it's also tangible and has intrinsic value. It should be based more of supply and demand.
I think
So
the reason why that is because when you denominate silver or gold in dollars in a currency, it's not necessarily saying that, yeah, as we all know, that this is any less of a weight than what it is. What it's really saying is that that dollar is worth less against, or worth more or whatever against, that silver or gold. It says more about the dollar than the actual
oh yeah.
silver. So with the speculation, it's almost kind of like, well, silver and gold have a knock-on effect, but not really. It's more so the dollar is being
Yeah.
affected by things. So
By a
when
greater than it
exactly,
used
so
to.
when
That makes
the
sense.
Fed decides to raise interest rates, it has an impact on the dollar. It has an impact on other assets. And because we're valuing silver and gold not as money, by what the Fed is by what the Fed is doing, obviously taking the dollar off the gold standard in the early 70s, taking and removing silver. A lot of people don't know this, from our monetary standard in the early 1870s, about 100 years
Yeah.
before gold. Now that puts gold and silver in the same vein as other assets that you can denominate the dollar with. Whereas before it would be, hey, the 1 ounce of gold is $35,
Yeah.
free and clear. There's nothing else. That's
Yep.
because gold is money and silver is money. But now we have to deal with the fact that we have to value these things with the dollar or some other currency. But like you said, I wonder if the reason why the Fed came out and said there's going to be a chance of another reserve currency that we could possibly accept here is because, like you said, they're realizing, well, the dollar's kind of going kaput a little bit. Maybe we need some kind of life raft here to, latch onto while the dollar goes down. Hey, maybe there's something else here that we can
Yeah.
kind of latch onto. And that can be our reserve currency. Maybe when the dollar goes away, we'll just go back to one again. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out the logic behind him saying that. But I also want to ask the people in the audience too, write in the live chat what you think, and also in the comment section too. Why do you think the Jerome Powell said that he would be willing to accept two reserve currencies or more than one? He didn't just say two; he said more than one. So